Today, you are shopping digitally. You don't need to move. So things that we used to need in the physical space, we need them in the digital space. ID included. We need to identify people. We need to authenticate people.
But it's important for everybody to have a unique identity, and it is a basic fundamental human right that everybody must have in society.
Having a digital platform or digital ID will help in terms of our politics, in terms of governance, in terms of trade, and even in terms of how we relate among ourselves as citizens of Africa.
The 2025 ID for Africa event was held in Ethiopia under the theme Digital Identity at Scale, Prioritizing Use, Accelerating Impact. The event marked a significant milestone in the advancement of digital identity systems across Africa and beyond. This prestigious gathering brought together over 2,300 participants from more than 100 countries. ID for Africa is a pioneering Pan-African movement dedicated to assisting African nations in establishing robust and responsible identity ecosystems that promote socio-economic development and digital transformation. Since its inception in 2014, the annual event has been hosted by various countries, serving as a vital platform for driving advancement in identity-related initiatives. During the opening ceremony of the 2025 ID for Africa event, Dr. Joseph Atik, Executive Chairman and founder of ID for Africa, commended Ethiopia for its commitment and achievements in implementing digital identity systems. He urged African nations to accelerate their adoption of digital identity as a fundamental step in meaningful digitalization, emphasizing the rapid pace of global technological advancements. Furthermore, he applauded the African nations' dedication to the continent's digital transformation and pledged ID for Africa's continued support for these initiatives.
The world around us is changing at an unprecedented pace, and if we fail to confront the disruptive forces shaping our reality, we risk losing momentum, or worse, being derailed. So what are these forces, and how are we, as a movement, governed by African member states, responding to them? First and foremost, digital transformation is no longer a choice. It is an urgent necessity. The world is moving in that direction faster than ever before, and the cost of inaction is rising exponentially. It's equally clear that meaningful digital transformation cannot happen without digital identity. To catch up and unlock the full promise of digitalization, nations must accelerate their transformation plans and leapfrog into a digital-first mindset. As a movement, we fully support the African Union's digital transformation strategy and are committed to advancing its digital identity goals by fostering and sharing African knowledge and expertise across the continent.
Ethiopian Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed highlighted the nation's remarkable stride in digital identity, underscoring its ambitious and transformative vision. He elaborated on the far-reaching benefits of implementing digital identity systems, particularly in fostering economic growth and enabling a more efficient, inclusive, and secure digital ecosystem.
We made a choice to build a modern, inclusive, foundational and scalable digital identity system accessible to every resident regardless of location, income, or background. We call this system FIDA. FIDA means in our local language, value. FIDA is not merely a card. It is a unique number that proves who you are while protecting your privacy and sharing only what is necessary. Since its launch, FIDA has reached close to 50 million people, but our ambition is greater, driving toward a future where all residents are included. FIDA is already unlocking access to vital services and opportunities. It is giving people across the country the means to participate in the digital economy, contributing to a more level playing field. By integrating FIDA across key sectors such as finance, healthcare, education, telecommunications, public services, including social protection, we are building a trusted ecosystem where identity serves the people. The impact of this effort is already being felt. In the financial sector, digital transactions have surpassed 12.5 trillion birr. With bank account now being linked to FIDA, we are ushering in a new era of integrity, transparency, and inclusion.
Yudaheza Mikhail, Director General of Ethiopian National ID Program, credited the country's success in digital identity to strong political commitment, local innovation, and strategic institutional partnerships.
This achievement did not happen by chance. It's the result of three fundamental pillars that guided our journey. First and foremost, the unwavering political leadership spearheaded by His Excellency Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. He has positioned digital identity as a cornerstone of our national development agenda. Excellency, your vision has been instrumental in establishing robust governance framework and seamlessly integrating FIDA with our Digital Ethiopia 2025 strategy. The second pillar, technical excellence with purpose. It has seen us leverage local expertise to customize open source solutions effectively. We've built an authentication ecosystem that now serves more than 55 service providers, implementing strong data protection measures while ensuring accessibility for all Ethiopians. This technical foundation has been crucial in maintaining the integrity and reliability of our system. The third and an important pillar of our success has been our strategic partnerships with our civil service agencies, with the state-owned enterprise of Ethiopia, and also equally importantly with international partners, including our state-owned enterprise, international partners, including World Bank's invaluable support through the Digital Ethiopia project, MOSIP's technical expertise, our active engagement with the ID for Africa community and the broader ID4D community, the ID for development community. They have provided us with good, important knowledge, resources, best practices needed to implement this ambitious program effectively.
Over the course of 4 days, attendees engaged in a diverse array of panel discussions, workshops, symposiums, and exhibitions, each contributing valuable insights to drive progress in digital identity initiatives. The event provided a unique platform for government decision-makers, industry leaders, innovators, and policymakers to discuss the integral role of digital identity in societal development. Participants emphasized its importance in trade, governance, and democracy, recognizing that identity is the foundation upon which progress in these areas is built.
Identity is being seen as an enabler in the digital space that we are living in. So if I go back a little bit to history, we have witnessed that Africa has missed the first 3 revolutions. And we all agree today that this 4th industrial revolution is the revolution for Africa. And this is the digital revolution, which means that life is slowly moving from physical to digital, or cyber-physical. We live in both space, and things that we used to do in physical space, we are doing that now in digital space. Today, you are shopping digitally. You don't need to move. So things that we used to need in the physical space, we need them in the digital space. ID included. We need to identify people. We need to authenticate people. But for in the digital world, the old plastic card that you had does not qualify. So that's why we need to be talking, we are talking about digital ID. All countries in the continent are today considering digital ID. And that's why this conference is important, where we talk about ID in general, because everybody needs to be identified in a country, but especially digital ID as we are moving from the physical world to now cyber-physical world, where the digital form of an ID is becoming more and more important. That's the importance of this conference.
Identity forms the integral part of any developing society or any developed society. It is the fulcrum on which all the issues around identity or all the functions of society surround. It is important that every individual is identified uniquely for the purposes of political, social, and economic activities in a country. Identity is important because it brings people together, but at the same time, it shows your uniqueness. It helps you on a rainy day. And if you look at the slogan for ID for Africa, Identity Day on 16th September this year, it is actually identity as your umbrella. And that means that identity is something you need or will become in handy on a rainy day. So identity is important because without identity, people can perpetrate fraud against you, and people can steal your identity and get into all manner of difficulties with you. But it's important for everybody to have a unique identity, and it is a basic fundamental human right that everybody must have in society.
Digital ID is something which is very important and very relevant to our development as a nation, especially in Africa. You know, there used to be a lot of barriers in terms of culture, in terms of trade, and in terms of even our politics. Governments, by their nature of governance and operations, generates a lot of digital records, or if you like, documents. And all the documents tells who the kind of transactions that you are doing, and also the identity behind the one that is performing the transaction. So having a digital platform or digital ID will help in terms of our politics, in terms of governance, in terms of trade, and even in terms of how we relate among ourselves as citizens of Africa.
When you introduce IDs like FIDA, which is a foundational ID, at service point to make sure that a person is who he is, people would make sure that their properties are secure, their rights are protected, and then you will be able to ask at service point the services that you require without any discrimination. So that's the scope of FIDA. FIDA would like to endorse access to services to everyone that resides within the country. So for any country to be able to implement digital transformation, digital ID is a major pillar because people need to be able to identify themselves at service point without showing any physical cards. So without digital ID, there is no digital transformation. That's also why Ethiopia is proceeding with FIDA.
So let's imagine that there is a crime, there are latent fingerprints on the paper, on the glasses. So now the future is now happening. You can even from mobile phone contactless scan the contactless fingerprints as well. You can identify the person. You can understand who that person is. If it is not hiding the identity, or with the proper tools, you can take a photo, search in the database, and understand who was on the crime scene as well.
Participants asserted that Africa must not remain merely a consumer of technology, but should emerge as a leader in digital innovation, reinforcing the continent's broader digitalization goals.
If this revolution is to be the revolution for Africa, Africa needs to be leading the revolution. We should not be followers. We should not be from behind. We should be from in the front. And for that, we need to own the technology. We need to be builders and producers of technology. We need to stop being consumers of technology. The reality is that today Africa is a consumer of technology. That needs to stop. And to stop that, there is no magic bucket. What we need to do is to develop skills, technical skills within the continent. Young Africans with the knowledge to develop technological solutions to our problems. That's what we are here for. As an academic institution, our role is to develop capacity in the continent. And as for this conference, we are running what we call a digital ID hackathon. It's a competition about digital ID. I'll be happy to talk more about it, but that's why we are here in this conference as Carnegie Mellon University and the Upanzi Network.
ID for Africa is a movement that has brought together so many people from different parts of the world, especially in Africa. As I said, identity is crucial to the foundation of any society. And Identity for Africa movement has succeeded in bringing together more than 48 countries in Africa. It has also brought together vendors of technology that support identity. And the advantage for ID for Africa movement is that you are able to learn policy, you are able to learn about technology and the advancement of technology. You are able to learn about things that other countries have done and how they have succeeded, some of the challenges, and you're able to take that back home and improve your identity ecosystem. So in general, the idea of bringing together the different countries under one umbrella for Identity for Africa, under the movement, has been a positive thing, I think, for Africa and in the world at large.
Ethiopia received widespread appreciation for its successful hosting of the 2025 ID for Africa event. Ethiopia was praised for its significant advancements in digital identity, demonstrating leadership in the movement towards a fully integrated digital future.
In the ID ecosystem, I do believe, and many do believe, that Ethiopia is really a role model. They have succeeded into putting in place a digital ID system. They are now enrolling people. They are more than 20 million people. They have developed a number of services to the citizen, because the difference of old ID and the digital one is that the digital one is enabling a lot of services to the citizens, and Ethiopia has been working on that. So it's very symbolic to be here in Ethiopia, because the National ID Authority that I commend, and I know them because I work with them, has been doing a wonderful work that needs to be showcased to the world and specifically to Africa. So that's why I found very interesting, actually, that this has been happening here in Addis Ababa and co-organized with NIDP.
So we like ID for Africa and we like Ethiopia. It was, I think, amazing event, amazing people. We love to see also a lot of our partners, clients, and our potential clients. So the investment, what we did, it's definitely worth it. And I would recommend to go and meet also next ID for Africa people, because it definitely makes sense for us, even from future perspective.
I think we've had a fantastic host by Ethiopia. This is, I think, about the fourth program I have attended, the AGM, and I think that the quality of the service that has been delivered from day one has been stupendous, amazing. The logistics properly done, nicely done. If you look at all the agencies that have come together, if you look at the government's contribution and the support of the Ethiopian government for this process, it has been very good. And generally, the people are very welcoming. We've been here a few days. The food has been good. The camaraderie and everything has been good. I think that the venue was also amazing. It allowed for there not to be any fragments in the identity process that we were doing. And for that reason, I think that it was a very good choice to make. And I'm quite happy with the efforts that the government has made in support of that.
Dr. Joseph Atik, Executive Chairman and founder of ID for Africa, extended his admiration and gratitude to the people and government of Ethiopia for organizing such a successful gathering.
Ethiopia performed admirably, very well as the host, and thanks to several elements. First of all, the political will came from the top. His Excellency, the Prime Minister, was here with us. But it wasn't just a passive visit. He had followed our progress in the preparations for this event. He had given the guidance necessary for the group, which was the engagement unit within his office and within the National Identity Project. But Ethiopia also gave us infrastructure. As you know, Ethiopia has been going through significant developments. A year ago, or maybe 6 months ago, if you walked down the street just in front of our hotel, you would have seen basically a different world, a world under construction. Now we're seeing the beauty of Addis to start. And that's just a superficial reflection. Go deeper and you will see internet was excellent, thanks to Ethiopia Telecom. The transport to bringing people in was terrific, thanks to Ethiopian Airlines. The hotels and the facilities were phenomenal, thanks to the Skylight Hotel, which is Ethiopian group. So when you talk about all the ingredients aligning, it was a perfect alignment of capability. And then, of course, the spirit of the people of Ethiopia is a spirit of hospitality and warmth.
It was officially declared that Côte d'Ivoire's commercial capital, Abidjan, will host the 2026 annual general meeting of ID for Africa from May 12 to 15. This transition marks another exciting chapter in Africa's digital identity journey, as the movement continues to inspire progress across the continent.